Hey guys, this is Wanda the Traveling Dutchie coming right at you from Costa Rica. Today we're going to chat about whether Costa Rica is Americanized or not. I'm sorry, I just came from the dentist and I guess I'm feeling it. If you're new to this channel, I'm a Dutch expat. I've been living in Costa Rica for over 17 years. With my channel, I'd like to help anybody looking to move to Costa Rica, travel to Costa Rica, or who wants to travel and work online. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon so you receive a notification every time I upload a new video. Now let's get into it. The reason I'm doing this video is because somebody from the United States actually asked me, is Costa Rica Americanized? So I asked this person, what do you mean by that? Because I think it's important to distinguish a country being touristy, like a lot of tourists are there, or a country being Americanized. I think it has a negative ring to it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. And it could actually be a really good thing. It depends all on how you look at it. So first of all, I think a lot of people would say that Costa Rica can be Americanized depending on which areas you go to. Because, for example, yes, Costa Rica does have a lot of American chain restaurants. Costa Rica has American sports bars, shopping malls, lots of, like places where you can buy American food, like I said, in the chain restaurants. And, there's places, for example, like Jaco, and close to Jaco, you have the Los Sueños Marina and Resort, and that's like mini United States over there. In Tamarindo, it can get a little Americanized. Let's now switch to over whether Costa Rica is touristy or not. And I think we have to remember that the main driver of Costa Rica's economy is tourism. And then also stats show that the majority of tourists actually come from the United States. So we have to keep that in mind as well. Now, if you're like, oh my God, I need an authentic, super Latin experience, no problem. You just want to avoid the areas I was talking about. Oh my God, Costa Rica is super authentic. Obviously, it's a Latin country, and in that sense, it's not Americanized at all. You just need to know where to go. Or basically, you just need to know what to avoid. So then there's also the level of like touristy. I spoke to an Australian tourist that really didn't like his vacation in Costa Rica. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you say that? Because out of all the countries I visited, Costa Rica is one of my favorites, but it's also expectations. What he didn't like, for example, he went to Monteverde and he didn't like that when he went hiking, that the paths were paved, they were concrete to make it easier for, people to walk in the jungle. He hated that. He wanted, and I can understand that, he wanted the, like a real hike. And Monteverde, for example, has a lot of like adventurous activities, like hanging bridges and canopy. And so they have these parks. And yes, they are very touristy, like these big touring car buses will come and, wait in the parking lot where tourists do their canopy tour and their hanging bridges. But you can also have a really off the beaten path experience in Monteverde as well. It just depends on what you choose. And the same goes for the Arenal volcano area. A lot of people say it's very touristy and there's so many resorts and so many signs along the way, and it's just not typical Latin. I guess that's right. But again, if you compare it to other destinations, I don't think Costa Rica is that touristy. I think there's still a lot of authenticity in Costa Rica. A lot of people get disappointed because they didn't do their research. Costa Rica doesn't have pyramids to visit. Like culturally, Costa Rica is not very rich in the sense that if you go to Mexico or Guatemala or Colombia, like there's a lot of colonial cities or ruins to visit. Costa Rica doesn't have that. Costa Rica is for nature lovers. The landscape is absolutely breathtaking. So Costa Rica has a lot of different microclimates, and that means that basically there's so many different types of landscapes, from mountains to cloud forest to rainforest to tropical dry forest. The Caribbean side has a completely different feel Then the Pacific side. There's volcanoes. There's incredible wildlife. I can't see how somebody could say that they didn't like their vacation to Costa Rica. But anyhow, it's important. Yes, if you're a super cultural person and you want to see ruins and the history and colonial cities, no, that is not in Costa Rica. And that's just a matter of educating yourself, right? So anyways, back to, is Costa Rica Americanized? Again, let's just talk about, is Costa Rica touristy? Yes, Costa Rica can be super touristy. And if you avoid all the touristy areas, let's say Tamarindo, Jaco, Manuel Antonio, even though I still love Manuel Antonio, yes, it attracts a lot of tourists, but it's still, I mean, it's a rainforest covered mountain. It's where the rainforest meets the ocean with white sand and blue water. Like, you know, it's absolutely gorgeous. But yes, it is visited a lot, but I still think you can have an authentic experience there. But anyway, if you really want to, you know, have an off the beaten path experience, let me give you my recommendation. You want to go to places like Boca Tapada or Sarapiquí or Rio Celeste is a good one too. But also Rincon de la Vieja, even though that will be a little bit more well known. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous, and there are so many areas where there's not a lot of tourists. Then the waterfalls, oh, what are they called? Bajos del Toro. There's a lot of waterfalls in this area. Bajos del Toro, absolutely fabulous. Not that touristy either. And of course you have to go all the way down south, right? Like explore either Puerto Jimenez in that area. You can go to Osa. Osa will be a little bit, there will be more visitors because it's very popular, but it's still, you know, not everybody goes there because it's far. But the whole south, just for example, if you're not in Corcovado National Park, but on the other side, it's just as gorgeous. What other areas do I like? Oh yes, Turrialba. I love Turrialba. That's closer to San Jose. And you can look up all these areas that I'm mentioning. I will write these areas down in the description box below in case you can't hear how I pronounce them. Another one that I really like, this one is super unique and super off the beaten track, is the Pacuara Reserve. Not to be confused with the Pacuara River with the whitewater rafting. No, the Pacuara Reserve is on the Caribbean side, and there's no hotels, there's nothing there, just a research center, and they offer accommodation. But what I really like is that here you can also you know, watch the turtles lay their eggs. They have the nesting season of the Agami heron. I mean, there you are completely in the middle of nowhere, and there's no other tourists there. The Pacuara Reserve, very unique. So yeah, like I said, I will leave these names in the description box below, but also feel free to just ask me in the comment section below any areas you have questions about. Of course, I'm always happy to help. I'm very passionate about travel to Costa Rica. I actually co-own a travel company, but not for like general tourists. It's a very niche market that we do. It's like bird watching, bird photography, nature photography type of stuff. But I've been in tourism for 17 years, also general tourism. So basically I know the entire country, and I know there's so many gorgeous spots that, well, nobody knows about is a little exaggerated, but like they're not that well known. You're best off renting a car in that case, just so you have the flexibility and freedom. Oh, the monkeys arrived. Just so you have the flexibility and freedom to you know, like go as you please, stop as you please, and that sort of thing. Oh, be safe when renting a car. I've made several videos about like the scams going on in Costa Rica, and you know, all the tips that I have for renting a car. I have a specific company that my company rents from that, you know, never have any problems. So I'll leave the link to the name of the car rental company that I recommend, and I'll also leave a link to the video that talks about renting a car in Costa Rica at the end of this video. So just come to Costa Rica, you'll have an amazing time. But again, watch out, like don't be like the Australian where, you know, you're looking for a vacation with like full of cultural, historic, colonial stuff. That is not in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is about nature and, oh my God, the wildlife. All right. Again, any questions? Leave them in the comment section below. If you got value from this video, give me a thumbs up. I hope to see you in the next one. And ciao from Costa Rica. Pura vida.